So, what you're about to watch is my attempt at making the Binging with Babish General Tso's chicken, and it turned out alright, but go ahead and start the video. So you can see here, I'm sitting here trying to figure out how exactly to make just egg whites, because that's the first ingredient that it's calling for. And I've never had to separate egg whites from egg yolks, and being that these are farm eggs that someone gave us, we just kind of tried to scoop them out with a spoon because the shells didn't really crack evenly like a pasteurized, everything egg that you'd get from the store. So I go ahead and try and do the first one, and it broke on me, so I may or may not have cheated a little bit, tried to scoop it out. Kind of disappointing. I went in and just poured it in there, but I figured I might as well try and go for the second one and see what I can do. So I've got the egg yellow yolk cleaned out. I'm gonna go ahead and start it on the next one and try and see if I can't make this one work. However, when I opened it, it already had a broken yolk. There was nothing really I could do about it. The white wasn't separating at all. So I kinda tried to make it work and just gave up and threw it away. And I figured I might as well just go on and use the normal eggs that we have. And those turned out much easier to use. Yeah, get all that yolk cleaned out again. Getting ribbed about it the whole time, of course. But once I get that done, it ended up working out a lot better. But yeah, the first thing on the recipe is that you need to separate 2 egg whites out to then whisk into a froth. So once that got done, from there it wanted me to add, I think it was like a tablespoon. Let me go ahead and count how many I pour in there. It's like a tablespoon of soy sauce, 1, 2, 3 of vodka, and I had a little trouble opening up soy sauce, and then 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of wine. Didn't know if it was bad or not because it had been sitting in the cabinet for a while and I really wish I hadn't used it, but then put it in, half of it into another bowl to mix in with the batter later to make it more crumbly on the chicken, and I think it really turned out well. But then it asks for baking powder to be put into, or baking soda, not powder, baking soda into the liquid along with cornstarch to thicken it. Mixing that up, and then from there on it wanted to cut the chicken, and it wanted 1.5 pounds, and this was a 5.5 pound box, or a 5.5 pound container of it, and I kind of just eyeballed it, and I think I needed a little more so that way I could have enough for 3 people to eat. So I went with about 2.5 pounds. So I cut up a couple pieces of chicken thigh, took off the extra fat and sinew on it, and it said to cut it into 1-inch slices, and I think I ended up with too big, so if I ever do this again I'll have to make them smaller pieces than I thought was even necessary. But going through that, go ahead and speed up a little bit more on the playback speed because this took quite a lot of time, honestly. It's a bit of a pain, but once I got done cutting all of the chicken, it was then on to putting it into the marinade that I made to begin with. So I've got that all mixed up how it needs to be, and it said set that to the side, so I went ahead and put it in the fridge thought better of it later, went ahead and watched the video for a little bit and took it back out. And the next thing that I needed to do is I needed to work on the batter. So putting, I think it was like a cup of flour, a cup of cornstarch, some baking powder, not soda, and then mixing that all up, and then putting some of the set aside batter, or set aside marinade in there to cause little crumbly bits to be put into the chicken whenever it's put in there. So getting that all done. And so now I'm working on the sauce that's actually going to be in the skillet that will be stirred on top of the chicken, that isn't just being marinated in it. And that called for more soy sauce, more wine, now rice wine vinegar, and chicken stock, as well as sugar. Needed like a full cup of sugar, I think. And the, what's it called, sesame seed oil. It wanted roasted sesame seed oil, which even a little bit of that stuff really sticks with you, so I'm glad I didn't put as much. And then a little bit of cornstarch to thicken it up. So mixing that in to where it's smooth. It called for 6 shallots, and I think we just got green onions, which was close enough. So you cut the tips off, and then you chop up thinly all the what are they called? All of the whites, and then 2 inches of the green to be put in there. So I went through that little bit of it, getting all that stuff put in there, putting a little bit of oil into a tall wall sauce saute pan, getting that all mixed in together, and then you put that in while you get your garlic. It wanted roasted, or to put some garlic, I think 4 cloves worth, and 2 inches of ginger, which we don't normally ever use ginger for anything, so we didn't really know what to do about that. But we went ahead and put some on a grater and put it in there. And it started to kind of stick to the bottom, so I had to hurry and put the wine, sauce, everything in there. One thing I would do differently if I was to do this, we couldn't find any normal like serranos or enchilado chilies that it was asking for, so we just used jalapenos, and they really didn't put any spice to it, so I would definitely add that next time. So now at this point, I went ahead and started the oil heating up, because I knew that that was going to take quite a while just stirring the sauce to let it kind of like simmer off the alcohol and everything. Could not for the life of us find a fry oil thermometer, and we finally found a candy thermometer Mom uses that would suffice. So we've got that all set up and waiting for the fry oil to get up to temperature, trying to figure out what we were supposed to do with the chicken, putting it in the flour that it had. So I've got that all mixed up, and it says to put all of it into the flour at the same time. Again, probably wouldn't do that, because it was a pain to keep it all in that little dish and also cover it, every little piece of chicken. But got all that completely done, put in there, and it got close to temperature, and we went ahead and just put it in there. But before that happened, the GoPro was about to die, so I went ahead and unplugged it and set up a new camera angle to show me putting it in there, and the next camera angle after that will be better. Okay. Want a piece of ginger to go there?
As many as you can put in there. Don't do that, you gotta separate them. You can't just drop it. You have to put them in separately. You can't put it all in at the same place. You gotta spread it all the way around. There you go. Get at least half of it. You can do the second half.
1-inch pieces. And then those like open air pieces. See like? What are you looking for?
Right over here, there's a empty spot.
It's on this side. Like.
Okay, keep going. You gotta pull them all out at the same time, so. Okay, that's it for now. Can you put that stuff away?
Very well. The one you might as well throw away. Ooh, this reminds me of Grandma. Grandma, go fix our house. How long are you doing for?
We'll get there.
So, it was about this point that we decided to bring in the expert at cooking fried chicken to make sure that the chicken was at a right temperature. We measured the temp and it was cooked on the thickest part of the biggest piece of chicken we had, so we were pretty confident about the rest of them. Take those all out, put them on a cookie sheet with a cooling rack to sit and wait until the next batch is done. And until then, I went ahead and set up a way better camera angle to where you could see what was happening now. So, got that fixed. Nice little mess. That's all the chicken. At this point, we're just trying to finish out the rest of the chicken. The first batch has cooled to the point wherever we feel like we can put it in the sauce and isn't too greasy, and couldn't really wait to put the next batch on the cooling rack, so we just decided to go straight from the pot into the chicken with the rest of the sauce. So you'll see that come up in a second. And our expert transfer of one pot to the heat and then the oil pot away. Alright, you can move that over here. I think I put more chicken than it was calling for, but I think it was gonna be
This gets hot. We stir it with water and put some coating on it.
This part over this. Alright, so that should be done.
Looks authentic to me.
The scoop with? We can just use that. Oh, the rice? There's a one that Mom has. Boom. All done. So that's it. That's the end of the video. I'm going to pad out the length just by looking into the camera, taking a 2-second pause. That's it.